biggest mistake I see the beginner and intermediate shooter making is looking in the wrong place for the target. If you can think of the human eye as a camera, an old-fashioned 8mm film, the eye sees at about 16 frames per second. The clay coming off the trap arm is between 60 and 90 miles an hour, and your back brain or subconscious perceives it traveling at the equivalent of 32 frames per second. You are seeing it every other frame. It is strobing, so your back brain sends a message to the hands to move very quickly, and you develop too much gun speed, usually missing over the target or in front of it. What we need to do is learn to look in the right place where the clay transitions from this blur to a solid object, and that will become our gun hold. And then our visual hold will be halfway back between the gun hold and the trap, allowing our reflex eye of our eyes, just like a reflex camera, to get hard focus. And then we will move with the target for a millisecond, establishing speed and line of flight and shooting the target. You'll see that this makes a maximum efficiency for minimum effort, where we just have very minimal gun movement which matches the target movement. Let me show you. First of all, I'd like you to look at the trap. Now, eyes are drawn to movement, so it's going to be very difficult for you not to follow the clay, but just look in this area here. Pull, and you'll see that it's a complete blur. It's actually now invisible to the human eye. But if we take our vision out and soft focus, maybe a third of the flight out, pull, and you'll see that it will change from that blur to an actual clay target. If you're looking at it properly, you'll see all the rings and the dimples on it. Hard focus. The eyes drive the hands. So, empty gun, that would be my gun hold. My eyes would be back into the visual hold, halfway back, so the bird would come into my vision, my eyes would get hard focus, and it would appear to bump into the end of the gun. I would then move with the target, establishing speed and line of flight, and pulling the trigger to break the target. So, pull. What I'd like you to notice is the minimum amount of gun movement. It's an insertion rather than a swing. Pull. There's very little for me to do on this target. It's a simple, I've got it all planned out, and I'm using a minimum gun movement. I'll show you the classic beginner's mistake. He looks here where the target's at its fastest, effectively seeing it every other frame or a blur. His eyes are over the end of the gun, so he's looking with the gun, and pull, and a mash, he's swing and miss over the top. Let's take a look at another one. Once again, just on the transition point, eyes halfway back, pull, and you'll see the minimum amount of gun movement. I keep it, and it's an insertion rather than a swing. So my eyes see the bird, have hard focus. Just as it turns into the sweet spot, my hands and eyes are guiding the gun to the same point in harmony, and we get a good clean kill. If you look too far back, you get misinformation, too much gun speed, and the eyes and hands are out of sync, and that's what causes a great deal of the misses in sporting clays.